It's BakuBread96 bringing you the third episode in my Cubbo Celebration Week series. As requested, today we will be unboxing the Darkus Magician Cubbo and the Aurelus King Cubbo for the deck profile. The third Cubbo we'll be using is the Pyrus Dragonoid Cubbo from yesterday's video. The Chaos Cubbo is simply here for decoration. But everyone, before we get into the unboxings and the deck profile, I want to let everyone know that just a huge thank you. We are at 64 subscribers and we are still climbing. I can't believe it. All of your support is amazing, and it is exactly why I'm going to keep those monthly giveaways going. I just definitely want to show my appreciation. The channel is growing very fast, and honestly, I'm having a hard time keeping up, but that is not a bad thing. So thank you all very much. I hope you like the video. If you do, hit that like button down below, and if you're a new viewer, go ahead and subscribe, because I usually have weekly series along with unboxings, random deck profiles, and hopefully much more to come. But without further ado, let's unbox some teddy bears. So we're going to start off with my personal favorite out of these two, the Magician Cubbo, just because you have to enjoy a Cubbo with a monocle. Just so awesome. Also, I do have a light on the side. Hopefully that'll help with the glare a little bit. But that's why everything is a little shady and weird, I guess. Just experimenting with some different lighting for everyone. And don't mind me yeeting the trash so we can get to this awesome Darkus Cubbo. Definitely looks more like a panda with all the black. Very neat, but we'll get into the toy later. Let's go ahead and rip open the plastic and look at the stats. So one thing I was noticing as I was going over the Cubbo, there is not a single double helix core Cubbo that they created. So the King Cubbo that gets a buff from helix cores will have to be put into another deck profile with other Bakugan other than Cubbo. So I definitely want to feature his ability, but I cannot use it on a Cubbo deck. I will have to make a different deck profile, possibly next week or the weekend. Not sure yet, but I will use him in this deck profile because, like I said, it was requested. So here is the gate card he comes with. Very cool fusion Bakugan there. It looks like Saurus and something. Let me know in the comments down below what this one is supposed to be. Not sure, but it definitely looks like Saurus. And here is Darkus Cubbo himself. Double orange shield, just like the Sheriff Cubbo, so definitely a mistake in my opinion. One of those could have been double helix and it would have been fine. Then you would have had a Cubbo with double core of each core. Would have been more uniform, but I don't know why they missed the margin. Possibly they're waiting to release more Cubbo, I'm not sure. But the King Cubbo definitely takes the short end of the stick on that one. Moving on, Darkus Cubbo does have 700 B power, so he is a bit better. 2 damage, and then if he lands on a green fist, he gets plus 3 more damage and Shadow Strike. So that right there kind of explains the deck profile. It is based on damage. The deck profile does have a few wonky one-of cards because I wanted to show off cards I don't normally use. So there is a little bit of difference in the deck. Otherwise, everyone, it will be a standard Darkus Pyrus damage deck. The cores that he come with are a Fusion Bakugan, get plus 500 B power, so that's not going to work. Going to yeet that one. And then it comes with a Chaos Ventus plus 400 B power. I actually don't have a lot of these, so we're not going to yeet it. We're just going to, slide it off to the side to use with another deck profile. But here is the Darkus Cubbo himself. Of course, like with all the cosplay Cubbo, their little hat pieces do come off for the brawl experience, and then you can put them back on once they stand. I guess you could. I'm not really sure. But to close, it's like all the other Cubbos: ears, arms in, and then the bottom torso up, and ball form with the hat off, of course. Very neat. I think this is my favorite one so far, but I'm not sure because Pirate Cubbo is looking pretty awesome. But otherwise, this one is very cool as well. So we will sit him over here by the Drago Cubbo, or the Pyrus Cubbo. And we're moving on to the third Bakugan of the profile and the second Cubbo unboxed today. I'm telling you, making these deck profiles was super easy because you know, you got that cheat sheet. You knew the character card before you even had to open the packaging. That comes in handy, but I'm glad they don't do it with other Bakugan because it would honestly ruin the surprise most of the time. And we are once again yeeting plastic off camera, but we will yeet on camera for all those who wants to see the on-camera yeet. And then here is King Cubbo. A lot more shinier added package than I thought. The bottom there is super silvery metallic. And of course he has his little gold crown. But this is the King Cubbo. There's his arms out. Little 360, his little cape gown thing. Little fluff. Very, very neat. Of course, I think that's part of his coat too. We'll take a look when we get into the character card. But overall, a very neat Bakugan. I really like what they did with the Cubbo. And honestly, I would not mind if they released more. Just different costumes, but you know, for the attributes. It would be neat. I would like it. So there we are. There we have it. Not much to the Cubbo. They're just little cute, niche little things. I think it was more of a gimmick that Spin Master came up with, but then it ended up pretty awesome. You know, it gave us a chance at really competitive Cubbo that people would like. Speaking of competitive Cubbo, though, let's go ahead and take a look at the card in person. Double Red Fist, a B power of 300, so definitely lacking, and 6 damage. Definitely good with the damage, which is why I made a damage deck. Excuse me, but if he lands on a Helix score, he gets plus 500 more B power and minus 5 damage. So on a Helix, he gets off of the damage deck status, and he goes into more of a B power strategy, which, I mean, that's cool. That would be fine for me, but again, we don't have any double Helix Cubbos. Like, what happened there? Spin Master definitely missed the mark, but again, not complaining. And we can see in the card that little fluff under his neck is actually his cape throne gown thing. So, canon, now we know. And that is the 3 Cubbo of the deck profile. So we will slide the camera down, yeet the garbage out of the way. Oh, before I forget, here is the gate card that the King Cubbo came with. Let's set that to the side. And then he actually came with a decent Flaming Fist core, the best one, plus 250 B power and plus 3 damage. And then Fusion Bakugan get plus 8. So that one's not good. We're yeeting it. This one we will save. Over there with the other. Just going to save those. But the Baku core I chose to run for the deck. A little different than I normally do. I went more towards variety than synergy. So I have 1 minus 300 B power orange shield for trap. Plus 150 B power, and Baku Gear costs minus 2 energy. There are Baku Gear run in the deck, so I wanted to try out this core. Plus 6 damage on a Red Fist. Sorry about the car alarm that went off. It ended quickly though, that's good. I am running my own plus 250 B power and plus 3 damage. And then for the final Green Fist on the Pyrus Cubbo, I have a plus 3 damage and a plus 150 B power plus 2 damage. So yeah, pretty cool. I don't normally run random cores like this, but again, I don't want the deck profiles to get boring and be the same one over and over again. I do want there to be a difference. So we'll slide these out of the way, and we will slide the deck profile down and get right into it. Hope you all enjoy. We have 1 Anchor Strike, 0 energy for minus 2. This deck doesn't have a lot of flip cards in it that stop like specific cores like a lot of my other decks do. So I do have a lot of minus damage cards in it. Quick Fire, 0 energy to make a Pyrus attack for 1 damage, and you may reroll your Bakugan. Darkus Slayer, 1 energy for plus 200 B power and 2 damage. Fire Floor, 1 energy for plus 2 damage, and you get to scan. Rack of Fury, 1 energy for plus 3 damage, and you get to scan. Anger, 2 energy for plus 300 B power, and Fury, if you have no cards in your hand, you get to draw 2. So kind of refill your hand if you play this later on in the game. 2 Curse of Darkus, 2 energy for minus 2, but it has the sacrifice ability. If you discard a card, you get minus 10 instead. Very nice. For only 2 energy too, and well, 2 cards kind of. Darkus Spark, 2 energy for plus 500 B power. 2 Darkus Destroyers, 2 energy for 200 B power, 1 damage, and Shadow Strike to the Bakugan. So very, very strong as far as the damage goes. It won't be reduced. 2 Darkus Petrify, 2 energy for minus 5 damage. Hot Potato, 2 energy to remove an enemy Bakugan's Bakucore and negate its effect. You return the Bakucore onto the field face down. Then Pyrostorm, 2 energy, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You may put up to 1 action, Bakugear Evo, and Hero card reveal this way into your hand. The rest go on the bottom of your deck in any order. So just a way for us to find our Bakugear cards more or less. I do run 1 Pyro Cannon, 2 energy for plus 100 B power and plus 2 damage. Shadow Slicer, 2 energy for plus 400 B power and you get to scan. 2 Burn Cutter, 3 energy for 1 armor rating and 100 B power and 5 damage to a Bakugan. So this is a big chunk of where that damage comes in equipped to the Cubbo. 1 Dual Strike, 3 energy and plus Double Strike and you get to reroll your Bakugan. Flame Wave, 3 energy for plus 600 B power. And I know this is a fan favorite of everyone's and it's very competitively viable. It is Mac. 4 energy, the turn you play this, the victor is decided by highest damage instead of B power, and your Bakugan have plus 2 damage. It's a very, very good card. Then Magma Shield, 3 energy for plus 3 damage, and if that Bakugan is holding a Orange Shield, you get plus Double Strike. The Orange Shield does come up because of the Magician Cubbo. It comes in handy. 2 Pyro Spark, 3 energy for plus 300 B power and Double Strike. 2 Raging Claw, which is just a 4 energy cost card for plus 800 B power. Really nice later on in the game. Following that is 2 Shadow Dogs, 4 energy, you must reroll your Bakugan. If you open on the reroll, that Bakugan gets plus 400 B power and victor, and opponent must discard 2 cards, so very cool. 1 Cinder Coil, 5 energy to destroy all enemy heroes. Aurelian Accelerator, 6 energy for a Bakucrew with an armor rating of 4, 400 B power, and 4 damage to that Bakugan. So very nice with this one, and I love that it absorbs such a huge amount of damage if it's flipped from the deck during an attack. Very cool. 2 Magmagon, just for those late game closeouts, 6 energy for plus 1200 B power. Moving on to the final part of my deck list, everyone, is the flip cards. Nothing special in these. I have the 2 Black Hole. I'll go over it quickly. In the turn, nothing else can happen this turn. Start the next turn. Cards cannot be played. Remaining damage vanishes and energy cards do not recharge. That is 3 energy for that one. A very solid Darkus stable in any deck that runs Darkus. It is really powerful, but make sure you do not use it to where it can mess you up, because if you leave yourself with no energy and your opponent hasn't played anything, well, next turn you have nothing and your opponent can just go all out. So you have to be very careful when playing this card. Following that, I have 1 Block Outsiders, 3 energy to block a non-Pyrus Bakugan. 2 Golden Wall, 3 energy to stop or block a non-Fusion Bakugan. Fierce Temptation, 4 energy to block a non-Pyrus, and then Fury, if you have no cards in hand, this is free. I doubt that'll come up, but it's just to block Bakugan mainly. And then finally, for today's deck profile is Pyrus Dominance. 5 energy to block a non-Pyrus Bakugan, and you get to destroy an energy card. So it might set your opponent back, so that's pretty cool. Otherwise, you are just blocking those non-Pyrus Bakugan. But that is it for today's video. I hope everyone enjoyed that take on the deck. Tomorrow there definitely will be a difference depending on what everyone picks. I'm excited to get into the Aquas Cubbo and the Chaos Cubbo both, because I know this one interacts with blue shields, that one has the blue shields, so definitely going to just slam those 2 on a deck. I'm not sure what the third Bakugan will be, but it is all up to you guys after all watching. I do want you all in the comments below to vote for which 2 get unboxed in tomorrow. And then Friday, the last 2 will be unboxed. And of course, the deck profile will be made respectively each day. And that's how this series is going. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Remember, Bakugan Brawl!